Hey there, button mashers. Zek here with Press Start, and welcome to Pressing Start on Iubes. Well, I'm guessing your first and foremost question, of course, is what are Iubes? Well, according to the website, Iubes are intelligent cubes, and we hate them all. Pretty much what Iubes really is, though, is a real-time strategy slash god game. But take everything you know about these games and throw them out the window. There is no stockpiling of resources, there is no terrain editing, and there is no micromanaging of directing your troops where to go. They are intelligent. But first and foremost, what we're going to go over is, of course, the configuration menu and kind of show you what things you can do. So we click over here, we got graphics, which I kind of have a love-hate relationship with right now, mostly just because they're so simple. I like that fact that you can just easily click between them and it's easy enough. Now, they did say that they will bring the custom settings later on in the future, so that is going to be there, and that's why I'm kind of happy that they at least tried to put something in. What we're going to do right now is we're just going to get into the game where I can just show you the basic gist of it. Welcome to the world of Iubes. Now, what we want to do right away is just start building. This little marker means very little, so don't worry too much about that. But the main thing to keep in mind in this game is don't be idle. Don't let your Iubes just wander. Give them something to do. So right away, just start building houses. They're the easiest thing to build. They're the most useful item to need you want, and get those going right away. The next thing you want is food. Without food, your Iubes will not produce. So we're going to get some vegetable farms. Insert vegetable eating pun here. So we're going to build a couple of those quick. Going to get a couple of those going. And of course, we also want to get a granary. The granary just improves what the farms can do. We'll go into more detail later on. But pretty much you can build about 10 items at a time. So pretty much what we're going to do is get as many as we can. And now I'm going to take a time to kind of show you the world. We are inside of a sphere. Now, unfortunately, there is a problem with the controls right now that I'm noticing is that some of the movement controls are also shortcuts for certain buildings. That's why you see the buildings pop up while I'm moving around and stuff. It's a little odd, but it's doable. But yeah, as you can see, again, we're in a giant sphere. There is a sun somehow, but whatever. But this is the world we're in. It's randomly generated, and this time we got a snow biome to show you, which is kind of nice. But as we go over here back to our guys over here, they're going to be working on stuff. Now, this land right here is your mainland. This is the only stuff you can build on. You can't build anywhere else. But this bluish area right here, this is your below land area. This is where your clay is reserved. If we take a look at some of the buildings, you notice that there are 4 resources: clay, wood, stone, and steel. If we go back to the house, you'll notice just how simple it is. It is a 178 block item that is using only clay and nothing else. So pretty much all throughout here. And that's all they need. They'll just come over and grab it. The next resource, of course, is the wood, which, as you can see, is just trees spotting up all the over the place. A really cool thing about this game is that resources are indefinite. These trees will respawn after being hacked down once. After a given amount of time, they'll come back up, and it's pretty useful in that. And as you can see, there's really no evidence that the clay will ever dissipate. As we play the game, you'll notice that even more. So pretty much, that's a great thing about resources, is that they will not expire like that. The next major resource, of course, is food, which you can see over here is a kind of important item. It's the only real item you're stockpiling, but we'll get more into detail with food later on. But as you can see right now, the Iubes will go and get stuff as they need it. As you saw, this little guy over here, he just ran over to the wood there because the vegetable farms need about 16% wood out of their 97 blocks. 83% of them are clay, and that's what he was doing. He realized, hey, I need some wood. I'm going to go over to this tree, grab some. I don't know the details of what actually numbers they're grabbing, like how much can they carry and whatnot. But that's just it. They are intelligent. You don't need to stockpile stuff. They will go and collect the materials they need as they need them. So what this kind of takes into place is another real-time strategy aspect that you just got to throw away. Build times are non-existent. It's all based on what materials are nearby, as well as their efficiency when you have more builders. If you have more builders, they will work together to build a single building. So that will increase build time, where having resources like the trees nearby helps, or the mountains over here for stone. So those are the other resources you also got to keep in mind as well. Now to get stone, you do need a pit, which we will put down later on. But yeah, you would grab it and probably put it over here. Over here, what we're doing is going to speed things up now. We want to make sure things go on. But let's take a close look at them and see what they're doing. You can see they're just toiling away, kind of building these buildings over here. Currently, unfortunately, only the yellow Iubes are available. I'm assuming that there will be customization later on, since, of course, all the enemies that you see are different variations, including when you go online, your enemies are different colors, even though I'm assuming that they themselves see themselves as yellow and you as a different color. So I can only speculate when they're going to release that, but hopefully sometime soon. Another big quick thing to show, I'm sure you noticed the houses are still at 100%. You do need a farm built before they will actually finish, so keep that in mind. All right, and as you can see, we now have the buildings are all starting to complete. They're all starting to finish up and start building each other. So we're going to start seeing Iubes being produced. Every time enough food is produced or is available and there's a population available, a Iube will be born or produced, whatever you want to say. So going into the buildings again, we're going to get some more buildings going. We're going to get some more houses going because you always want to make sure your population is increasing and you always want to keep these Iubes doing something. So food is a big thing. Food is kind of like your health. As long as you have food, you will continue to reproduce or build Iubes. Even when they die, they will just continue to grow as long as you have the food to maintain them. So what we're going to do now is also get the pit going. Stone is the next thing we're going to need to be able to build anything really else that we want to build. While that is going, a couple more interesting details about food is that food won't start stockpiling until we've hit our max population. Now, how food is developed is through the farms and the granary. If we zoom in close, you're going to actually see numbers popping up from the farms and even the granary. Pretty much what's going on is every time they complete the food, even without the granary, the food will be produced with the farms. What happens is, as you watch, every time the food goes through, the guy will run over to the granary and another number will pop up, meaning that you kind of get the double toll. So that's why you gotta want the granary there, because that will increase your food production. And again, as long as you have, every time you hit 25 food, if there's an available population slot, they will build an Iube. So now that we got a base going, I'm going to get some towers going for defensive purposes. The earliest way of getting some sort of fighter going, they won't leave the towers, but without a warrior's building, this is the first way to defend yourself. This is useful in case your opponent decides to go straight for the warrior buildings, which warriors are offensive only. They will just go straight for the enemy town and start attacking. So that's where you want to get these towers. Keep that in mind that they'll be able to put 3 Iubes on top that are fighters, and they will defend your village from anything from smaller Iubes to large warriors. So let's go ahead and get one of those warrior buildings built anyway, though, so we can get at least started on production. Now, warriors are your best way of getting troops. Now, as you notice, the warriors thing does need stone, which is why I built the pit here that gets you stone, which is what you need in order to be able to make warriors. But now, like I was saying, it's all about being able to defend yourself. That's what you want to get these towers up first. It's the best way to protect yourself in case they decide to go for a combat style instead of a defensive style. But pretty much what I can show you now is that all buildings also have an upgraded version, including the warriors. This is your standard house. It gives you 10 Iubes. You got your inn for 20 Iubes that adds some stone to it. And then, of course, what you got next are your vegetables, which are normal. They have some wood, but if you add more wood, you'll get extra vegetables, which produces more every time it succeeds. Your mill is your better granary, which again, as they run vegetables to the granary, you'll get more food out of each one. Now, the forge is technically the upgrade for the pit. It gives you access to the 4th resource, which is steel, which is not very useful at the moment. I don't know if they have more plans in the future, but pretty much it's the only way you're going to get an armory, which gives weapons to improve the equipment of your warriors and destroyers. They do have the question mark key, which is I'm guessing where they're going to add more stuff into it that may have use for steel. The cemetery here, I'm going to explain more later on at night, because that's what it actually has use. And yep, over here you got your outpost, which is an increased tower. You get 6 instead of the 3, and it's mostly stone. Then, of course, like I said, you got your warriors. Now, this gives you 5 warriors to fight enemies. Now, keep that in mind. It's enemies only. They will only go around and fight other opponent Iubes, nothing else. And that's where I want to make sure I make that clarification there. The destroyers, on the other hand, are 4 Iubes. You get less, but they destroy everything. They will fight other Iubes as well as buildings. And this is how you can start to destroy their town and destroy their infrastructure. You're going to need destroyers. These guys are more expensive. They need 125 food, with the warriors only need 75 to be produced. So that's your buildings as set right now. So what I'm going to do now is finish up building a basic base and getting really focused. And I'm going to come back when night hits. Because if you look at the top, you're going to see 2 clocks. There's one that's counting down, one that's counting up. Counting up is the total emulated time. And at the top, your countdown is till nighttime. I'm going to come back at night. I'm going to high speed this till that happens. And I'll come back when we hit nightfall. Because there's one more important facet that I have to mention about this game. Alright, so what I also did is I also fast forwarded, but this night I wasn't prepared for it. So I'm actually going to purposely make sure I survive and just going to keep building slightly to go to the next night. I'm going to keep this fast forward going until I hit the next night because I really want to show the truth behind it. What we need is a cemetery and souls. If you actually look in the corner of both of me and the computer, we each have our souls, and those are only useful though if we have a cemetery. So I'm going to build a cemetery for the next night so you can see what souls actually do. Alright, so we got a couple minutes before night falls, and I just want to show you what's actually happening to the enemy village. They actually had a really good farm infrastructure going. They had really good food production, but that's why I was glad I got the destroyers up. As you can see, all these buildings over here that are all brown and dark and stuff, they're all finally getting destroyed, so the food production is going to start going down, and that means they're going to stop being able to reproduce their units. So my destroyers are just going to keep coming in. They're going to keep destroying stuff. Of course, they're going to get destroyed once in a while, and they're going to have to be respawned, but my food production is alright. I do have a lot going on. Now, here's night. Now, this time I actually have a cemetery, and this is where this night is probably going to be my victory night. Now that night is coming, because my cemetery is now going to take those souls that I've earned from the day before that the enemy player has destroyed, is going to spawn ghosts. And at a variation based on whatever I need. If I need more builders, more small Iubes, they will spawn as ghost Iubes, and they will also spawn the standardized warrior types as well. So once you have a cemetery, it actually can be a really boost to your population and your force. That can actually even turn the tides of a battle at times. I've actually played one where I was actually winning for a while. The night came, the enemy had a cemetery, and a whole bunch of souls started spawning, and I couldn't fight back, and I actually was pushed back for a little while, and I had to go a whole other day. So the whole souls thing can actually be really useful if you can just hold out to the night. Now, unfortunately, with this being an easy level, the enemy hasn't actually been built the cemetery yet, so all 700 of his souls that he has are going to just be lost instead of any of them being used. So pretty much I'm going to win tonight. I'm going to fast forward again until the actual victory, and we'll come right back. Alright guys, so here it is. It's pretty much the winding down point. As you can see there, all their farmland is pretty much destroyed, and that music that you're hearing right now is my victory chime, because if you look over their stats, their food is low, their population is dwindling. Once every single Iube is down, I will actually get the victory icon. But here's why they say we hate Iubes. 2,200 of the enemy's Iubes were killed, and 800 Iubes of my signs were killed. So in one battle, almost 3,000 Iubes were killed. That's the whole point behind Iubes are intelligent cubes, and we hate them all. Iubes will die very, very quickly. But that is the game. That is how you play a match. If you guys are more interested in other tips and tricks that I found, if you want me to play a couple onlines, let me know down below. As for the game itself, I actually have a lot of fun with it. It's a new twist on God games and real-time strategy. It takes all those things that you are so used to, throws them out the window. Really great for a quick game. I like the graphics. They actually are pretty nice for block-based graphics. So that's my take on the game. I definitely give it a thumbs up. One of the best things about the game, though, is that it is free to play, the offline version. Just go to the website, iubes.com. There's a link down below. You can download the game and play offline all 4 levels of difficulty with no price. If you do want to play against other people online, it's only $15 right back on the site, and you get full access to the online capabilities. If any of you guys have already played the game, or after you have played it, due to the video, if you want to leave a comment down below of what you thought about it, go right ahead. Otherwise, comment on other games you might want me to take a look at. Till next time, guys, I'm Zach Press Start. Keep pressing those buttons. Take it easy.